Alright guys, I want to welcome you all back to some more Umineko. At this very moment, I'm starting to dislike Maria as a character, if only because she's coming off as rather annoying now. Like, I thought it was just a secondary personality thing, but if this seems like it's really her. And, she sounds like a bratty kid, man. Not to mention, she's so caught up in this illusion that Beatrice put on her, or told her about, that, like, for all you know, you shouldn't even trust her. She might betray her, kill her, you know? And I'm looking forward to that if that's the case, because I don't like Maria anymore. But we're gonna continue on, guys, and if anything, I want to thank you all for the love and support, and we'll see what happens from here on in, so let's get back to it. Alright guys, welcome back again. We're continuing on. And grandfather's body was not simply burnt. Just like Auntie Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi and Kanon-kun too, who had been stabbed in his chest, he had one of those demon ice picks stuck into his forehead.
指に当主の指輪がありません。
昨夜の手紙の通りということですか。お父様、さぞやご無念でしょう。
I nearly forgot that guy threw his ring out the window, so it's not like he lost it. He voluntarily got rid of it. Probably part of his ritual to get Beatrice. Aunt Natsui let her head droop and closed her eyes tightly. This room had also become a vital crime scene for us to hand over to the police. It was decided that we would leave grandfather's corpse here and lock the room, sealing it. It wasn't clear when grandfather's corpse started burning in the incinerator. Since according to Genji-san, the flames hadn't been that strong, the body must have started burning a long time ago. And that stench must have slowly crept out of the furnace and filled the room bit by bit, eventually pouring out and climbing up the staircase. Putting aside whether he was a rare or well done, grandfather had been brought out, killed, and burned, even though he had started out in the locked room created by his autolock. There's probably no doubting this. However, according to Genji-san, the boiler room is usually locked. The probability that someone outside our group was lurking around committing the crimes was now overwhelmingly high. And there was also a good chance that the person was walking around with something like a master key. You know, it just occurred to me, I was under the impression that Beatrice, as her butterfly form, was able to slip through the room of Ava and Hideyoshi because she just needed a crack. Excuse me, just a little crack so that she could just, flitter her way through. And then I just remembered, not that long ago, it was actually pretty, one video ago, that prior to her going into the boiler room, it was unlocked. So either she manifested into her full form, the Beatrice form we saw in the trailer, our intro, or something else opened it. Someone else opened it. But I'm fairly certain it has to be Beatrice, though. After all, the doors and windows throughout the mansion had been checked. But despite that, the culprit was freely strutting around the mansion. After the latest crime, we can now be sure that a 19th person exists. Can we now be sure that a 19th person exists? They haven't shown themselves once, and yet they're trying to tout their existence. Along with Kirie-san's chessboard theory, I've been using this contradiction to deny the existence of a 19th person. By flipping over the chessboard once more, the very fact that this crime makes it perfectly obvious that a 19th person exists means that the existence of the 19th person is even less possible. As long as that 19th person doesn't show themselves in front of us. If the culprit could get grandfather out through the door sealed by the receipt, if they could kill Auntie Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi from the other side of the door sealed by a chain, then is it possible for them to even create a fictional 19th person through strange tricks and devices? If we still want to believe that a culprit is among us, then the list of suspects is very short. The four of us kids, Aunt Natsuhi, Genji-san, Kumasawa Ba-chan, and Dr. Nanjo. One of these people has to be the culprit. Wait, we can't be sure of that. Just a second ago, we started doubting whether the body here was actually grandfather's, right? Maybe we should try thinking of the other bodies in the same way. For example, the first 6 had all their faces horribly destroyed. Some of the bodies had kept enough of their faces for us to confirm who they were, but my old bastard, for example, had lost his entire face as though it had been peeled off. We'd only figured out which body was which by their clothes and surroundings. Had the culprit prepared fake corpse beforehand and disguised it to make it look like they died, then hid somewhere and continued their killing spree? See, I was also thinking that. I was like, that's always a possibility that the family played the rest of the others that we're playing with right now, just to see how it play out for them. I don't know. It sounds ridiculous, but that doesn't mean it is an impossible trick. It's too early to give in to this 19th person. No, this witch. I wouldn't say it's too early considering what we just witnessed, at least from the standpoint of canon.
マリアちゃん、それ以上しげしげと見てはなりません。さあ、バトラ君もカノンの容体も気になりますし、いつまでもこのようなところにはいられません。戻りましょう。
Maria hadn't gone out with everyone else, but had remained in the boiler room. The thing she was staring fixedly at was probably not grandfather's body, but the demon ice pick that was sticking off his forehead. No doubt an irresistible item for the obsessed. I wrapped her on the head.
おい、マリア。ベアトリーチェの目的は何なんだ？俺たち全員の命か？
Yeah, someone needs to like knock her on the head for always laughing like that. It's getting annoying.
ベアトリーチェはもうすぐ蘇るんだよ。その時、誰も生き残れはしない。
よくも笑えるもんだぜ。自分だけ蚊帳の外だと思ってるのか？どうして自分の身に危機が迫っていると感じない？どうして怯えない？
ベアトリーチェは約束してくれたもん。私は黄金鏡へ連れて行ってもらえるんだよ。そこはね、しがらみも何もないすべての人たちがずっと一緒にいつまでも優しくし合っていける素敵な場所なんだよ。私は楽しみだよ。
And you're fine with that at the expense of losing your family? That's a tough pill to swallow, man.
その時はもうすぐだもん。
Just what kind of person is Maria? I only know what Maria was like 6 years ago when she was 3. She had been a pure and obedient, a good kid. This new Maria 6 years later and the Maria I knew didn't seem to fit together. Just who is she, this witch who calls herself Maria? To her, with her obstinate belief in witches, this series of unsolvable crimes is proof that witches actually exist. Every time something occurs that would be difficult for a human, it becomes a little harder for the rest of us to not believe in that witch called Beatrice. It must be an intense pleasure for Maria to see her relatives who once firmly denied the witch's existence start acknowledging her existence one by one. Is that why she's in high spirits?
マリア、もう一遍だけ聞く。どうせ答えは同じだろうが、もう一遍だけ聞く。お前は昨日、マラテイエンで手紙をもらった。そいつは誰なんだ？
だからベアトリーチェ。バトラがまだ信じない。
Maria only repeated what she had already said. Maria had met with the 19th person, the witch. Had that really been a 19th person, or had that been one of the 18 who told her to say otherwise? All that's certain is that Maria had been with the rest of us constantly, has always had an alibi, and hasn't done anything that would put her under suspicion. She's simply overjoyed at being made Beatrice's messenger, and certainly is not our 19th person. I think. I was also under the assumption that Maria might be a suspect in all this, but she's been with us throughout, so I don't know. Except for the time she was watching TV. That's right. I wonder what's written in the letter we picked up in Auntie Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi's room. Aunt Natsu should still have it with her. besieged. In the end, Kanon-kun did not regain consciousness. Oh, so he's still alive after all. I thought he was officially dead. Even though Dr. Nanjo and the rest did all they could to heal him, there was very little that could be done on an island like this without medicine or proper facilities. However, Kanon-kun was the only human ever to confront the culprit. If only he could give us some kind of clue. But by the time he was carried here, it was already too late.
申し訳ありません。あのような重傷を設備のないところではどうしようも。
いえ、無理もないことです。最善を尽くしてくださり、ありがとうございました。
Dr. Nanjo's shirt had been sprayed by a violent spurt of blood, so it was easy to imagine the devotion with which he had tried to save Kanon-kun's life up until the very last second. Jessica was crouched in the corridor, crying in anguish. She had probably been taking care of Kanon-kun until the moment of his death, so he did die. George Aniki tried to approach her with words of comfort, but when Jessica pushed him away, he stopped trying to interfere and left her alone.
私がカノンさんを一人で行かせなければ。
You know, I cannot even blame Kumasawa for her reaction. How she was smiling in between crying. Like, you would think she was possessed, but at the same time, that's human. You know, she didn't want to die. But she still had to check up on Kanon-kun anyway, just because she was worried about him.
気に病むことはない。仮に一緒だったら、熊沢も襲われていたかもしれん。それに、愚かにも先走ったゆえの自業自得だ。
Yeah, he took a huge gamble. And lost.
そんな言い方ってねえぜ。カノン君は犯人の姿を見つけて誘拐に立ち向かったんだ。熊沢さんも一緒だったら犯人は躊躇して逃げることを選んだかもしれない。
No, there's a very high chance Kumasawa would have died too. Emotion-filled words that I have never thought I'd hear from the normally tactful Jessica tumbled out of her mouth. Kumasawa, looking truly sorry, could do nothing but hang her head.
ジェシカ、今は言葉をかけるべきじゃない。僕だって。そしてバトラ君もだろう。もう何が何だかわからなくて心が張り裂けそうだよ。
There were tears in George Anaki's eyes again. Seeing Jessica break down crying probably brought back the pain of losing his parents. I had already cried myself dry, so I didn't want to cry anymore. However, I felt myself the pain in their hearts.
大丈夫だよ、ジェシカお姉ちゃん。カノンにだってまたすぐ会えるよ。
よしてくれよ。そういう慰めはいらねえぜ。
ベアトリーチェは死者も失った愛すらも蘇らせる。
Then what was the point in killing them?
だからきっとすぐに会えるよ。そしてきっとみんなで穏やかに過ごせるから。
カノン君を殺したのがマリアに昨日手紙を渡したっていうベアトリーチェなのか。そいつはどこにいるんだよ。どこに隠れてるんだよ。私が見つけて引き裂いてやる。言えよ。知ってるんだろ、犯人の正体を。お前は何を知っていて何を隠してるんだ。話しやがれ。
お嬢様、おやめください。
I don't even feel bad anymore that they're just like, you know, getting angry at her. It's just, she's getting annoying now. I used to like her, but not like that other personality or the possibility that she's like possessed. It's not helping, man.
ベアトリーチェはいる。
ちくしょう、ケンジさん話せよ。マリアが犯人を知ってる。しかもそいつは知ってて隠してるんだ。そして私たちの内情を伝えて殺しの手引きをしてるに違いないんだぜ。
That also wouldn't be far off.
ジェシカ、静かにしなさい。
Jessica rushed at Maria and grabbed hold of her. Genji tried to stop her, but Jessica could not be calmed. The next thing I heard was the sound of Aunt Natsu slapping Jessica's face. After that, only Jessica's sorrowful, sobbing voice resounded throughout the hall.
マリアちゃん、僕は 君が断じて犯人ではないことを知っている。君はいつも僕たちと一緒にいたし、犯人なんかと通じている時間はなかった。
Maybe not physically, maybe mentally.
だから、聞かせてほしい。君に昨日、手紙を渡したベアトリーチェとは、誰なんだい？
Although those words seem kind, they clearly showed that George still had some doubts about Maria. He hadn't tackled Maria. However, he felt exactly the same way Jessica did.
兄貴、同じことは俺もさっき聞いたぜ。返事は同じさ。
マリアちゃんの口から聞きたい。ベアトリーチェとは、誰なんだい？
言っても、どうせ、信じない。
それはどういう意味だい？ひょっとして、僕らのよく知る人物が犯人で、君は何かの事情からそれをかばうために黙っているというのかい？君はあの手紙を誰にもらったんだい？
ベアトリーチェにもらったんだよ。何度だって言う。手紙はベアトリーチェにもらった。ジョージお兄ちゃんがベアトリーチェを信じないのは、殴れる相手じゃないから？ジョージお兄ちゃんは、やるせない気持ちを暴力に変えて、誰かにぶつけたいと思っている。だから殴れる相手が人間じゃなきゃ、収まりがつかない。だからそんなジョージお兄ちゃんには、真実を話しても受け入れられない。だから言っても無駄。信じない。でもマリアは何度も言うよ。真実だから言うよ。ベアトリーチェはね、いるの。黄金鏡の扉はもうすぐ開かれるよ。マリアはそこに行くの。
This girl's gonna get betrayed so bad, it's gonna be funny.
ベアトリーチェが約束してくれたの。
She's too beholden to Beatrice, that's the problem.
その世界では、ママも優しくて、パパも一緒で優しいの。マリアは早くそこへ行きたいの。みんなはベアトリーチェのことを恐れている。そしてそれは無理もないことだけど。なら安心して。ベアトリーチェは言ってたよ。台風が去るまでに全てを終わらせるからって。
I knew it, I was hoping for that.
饒舌なマリアも嫌いじゃねえが、とりあえずはそのくらいにしとけ。魔女はいるいる言ってたお前にとって、さぞや現状は愉快だろうが、とりあえずそいつはお前だけで噛み締めとけ。他人にまで押し付けるんじゃねえ。
おお。
こいつ、前から気持ち悪いやつだとは思ってたけど、おかしいぜ。どっかおかしいぜ。バトラは思わねえのかよ。ケンジさんは？熊沢さんは？母さんはどうだよ。マリアは犯人の正体を知ってて隠してる。確かに直接手を下してるわけじゃないかもしれない。でも間違いなく犯人の一味だぜ。そうさ、スパイさ。私たちと一緒になんかいさせられないぜ。
マリアちゃん、不謹慎な話を慎むべき時もあることを知りなさい。これ以上混乱に油を注ぐような真似が過ぎれば、おばさんも本気で怒ります。
Aunt Natsuki glared at Maria with frightening eyes. Maria was used to Auntie Rosa's loud style scolding, but she apparently hadn't developed the resistance to this kind of silent telling off. She shrugged and kept her mouth shut. A desolate feeling filled the room. It felt as though things would just get more complicated if anyone spoke. How many people had already died? 6 in Dad's group. Also, both Auntie Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi Kanon-kun, grandfather. There were a whole 18 people on this island. 10 of those have been killed. More than half of us have been killed. And at this stage, there was absolutely no guarantee that the remaining 8 were going to be alright.
とにかく、今は仲違いをしている時ではありません。犯人が神出鬼没に屋敷内を出入りしていることが間違いなくなった今、私たちは明日まで身を守ることだけに専念しなくてはなりません。
夏日おばさんに極めて同感だぜ。犯人探しは今夜ゆっくりできるさ。今はどこで籠城するかを考えた方がいい。
As I said this, I pointed out the clock to everyone. It was already 8 at night. It was already... we had been receiving shocks over and over again since the early morning, and both our bodies and our minds were completely tired out. There was still a long time until tomorrow. We need to find some place to barricade ourselves in, somewhere we could rest our bodies and feel even the slightest bit safe.
私も同感ですな。私も含め、もうみんな体も心も限界まで打ちのめされています。今からそれを考えた方が賢明でしょうな。
そういうこった。敵はマスターキーに準ずるものを持っている公算が高い。
シャノンやカノン君、ゴーダさんはマスターキーを持ってましたか？
はい。勤務時間中だったなら身につけていたはずです。
現場をいじらない方がいいってんで、そこまでは調べなかったろうが、誰かの鍵が奪われている可能性は否定できねえな。
そもそも犯人はバラ庭園倉庫のシャッターを開けるために一度使用人室を訪れている可能性があります。そこでマスターキーをすでに入手していると考えて間違いないでしょう。
There were many servants serving the Ushiromiya family. Because of that, there were several master keys. Furthermore, every time the shifts changed, the keys were passed between servants. She had to admit that the arrangement had been somewhat sloppy.
仮に殺された使用人の誰かのポケットから鍵束を拝借したとして、その鍵でも開けられない安全な場所はあるのか？
私たちはお仕事の都合上、すべてのお部屋の鍵を預かっております。お屋敷もゲストハウスもすべてです。
つまり私たちはどこへ立てこもって鍵をかけようと意味がないってわけだ。上等だぜ。鍵なんかいるもんか。来るなら来やがれってんだ。返り討ちにしてやるぜ。
敵は正面から来ないよ。最初の6人はともかく母さんたちやカノン君、そしておじい様の霊を見る限り敵は孤立した人間だけを狙ってる。一部屋に固まっている僕たちのところへ堂々と乗り込んで来られるほどの力はないんだよ。
そうだな。兄貴の言う通りだ。ひょっとするとおばさんのライフル銃が抑止効果として成立してるのかもしれないぜ。
なら良いのですが。
マリア、言いたいことがあるんだろうが、そいつは飲み込んでしばらく黙ってろ。
Maria probably wanted to say that witches weren't afraid of things like guns or something like that. But if she were to say it out loud, the atmosphere around here would start to get pretty edgy. I'd noticed and decided to put a stop to it.
よろしいでしょうか。一箇所だけ。使用人の鍵束でも入れない場所が。
Kinzo's room, right?
それはどこです？
はい。
Oh no, Kinzo's room has a key that you can enter through.
親方様の書斎です。
Yeah, see? Boom.
私は反対だぜ。じいさまの気持ち悪い部屋になんか入りたくない。
あの部屋に入れる鍵は何本あるんですか
？2本です。1本は常に私が。
Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's still a key to that room regardless, but alright.
もう1本は親方様がお持ちでしたが、先ほどボイラー室の遺体からこれを。
Genji-san took a handkerchief out of his pocket and opened it, showing us the burnt and filthy key to the study. Then he showed it alongside his own key, which he had once lent to Aunt Natsuhi.
本来なら警察のために鍵も残すべきだったのですが、親方様より書斎の留守は必ず守るようにと仰せつけられておりましたもので、私がお預かりさせていただいておりました。なるほど。ということは金蔵さんの書斎は唯一の安全地帯というわけですな。
そういうことになりますね。あの怪しげな匂いの部屋に一晩も立てこもるなど考えたくもありませんが、あの部屋が一番安全であることを今は認めなければならないようです。
その安全な部屋に閉じこもってたじいさまを犯人は連れ出して殺してる。絶対安全とは言い切れねえけどな。
バトラ君の説のおじい様がうまくレシートをやり過ごして自分の意思で部屋を出たと考えるなら、籠城の価値はあるかもしれない。
へえ、楽観的すぎだぜ兄貴。
However, at the same time, I thought he brought up a pretty interesting point. After all, this gives us a chance to question the enemy, the witch herself, about how the sealed door had been opened. If we assume that the culprit used some technique to abduct grandfather from his study, they would have to show us the same trick again if they want to assault us in the study. It's an opportunity to force the culprit to demonstrate that trick right before our eyes. If they're a real witch, we would be forcing them to say "Open Sesame" and open the door by magic right in front of us. But such a thing is probably impossible. If you flip over the chessboard, you realize that the culprit is obviously just trying to act like they're a witch. If they really were a witch, all they'd have to do is appear in front of us and show off a spell colorful enough to silence all our doubts. Since they avoided doing that, everything must be the work of a fake witch who wants us to think otherwise. Therefore, a culprit who used a technique other than magic to defeat the locked room couldn't open the door before our eyes.
じいさんの部屋ってのは8人で押しかけても大丈夫なくらいの広さなんすか？
はい。ベッドにソファー、毛布類もありますので、贅沢を言わなければ十分に夜を越すことができます。流しにご不浄、冷蔵庫に酒棚もあります。
ひゅー、そいつはすげえぜ。しかしおかしなもんだな。自分の家の中にさらに自分の家を作ったってのか？島を丸ごと買って自分の夢を全て実現しきったじい様の最後の家にしちゃ随分手狭なんだな。
そうですね。いつの頃からかお父様にとっては屋敷内ですら心を許せる場所ではなくなってしまったのでしょう。
そこに引きこもっていたのを私たちは嘲笑い、そして今度は私たちがそこに立てこもろうってわけだ。
Jessica spat the words out.
ジェシカちゃんは立てこもるより犯人を探しに行きたいという感じだね。
もちろんこっちから探しに行って見つけられるなんて思っちゃいないぜ。結局は待つしかない。ならどこで待ったって同じだろ。逃げも隠れもしない。客までテレビでも見ながらのんびり現れるのを待とうじゃねえかよ、ベアトリーチェ様をよ。
現れなければ現れないで十分です。犯人を暴くのは私たちである必要がないからです。
正論ですな。警察が来るまで危険を冒すべきではありません。
ありがとう南條先生。私はお父様の書斎に移るべきだと思います。確かにお父様が連れ出された可能性があり、絶対の安全が保証されているわけではない。しかしバトラ君の推理のお父様が何らかの方法で自ら書斎を出て外で襲われた可能性も否定できません。
Alright everyone, I'm gonna end it here for today. Thank you all for watching. So we're getting closer to some more of what could possibly be who could possibly be the culprit in all this, and if anything else, we're gonna lock ourselves in Kinzo's room, which is just as surprising, and I'm also curious to see if they're even gonna you know, search around it to see what's what. But if anything, we'll continue on in the next one. So thank you all for watching.